This is Rick. He didn't want to be filmed today. But you pressed play again, so I'm sending him into a deep, wet, endlessly dark cave because of you. I'm giving him a few hours with light. He needs to arrange his gear, touch the walls, and string a rope from his tent to the storage and toilet. He'll place markers and label food. He fastens his toothbrush with Velcro and puts his thermos in a corner to prevent spills. Rick moves by counting steps, verbalizes each movement, and plans routes. He smiles like he's on a hike, not quite grasping what awaits him. So the light is off. Completely. It's true darkness. You can't even see your own fingers. Rick is alone in absolute darkness. Only my video cameras can see now. He takes his first steps carefully, still relying on memory. Then he hits his forehead on the low ceiling. Rick moves on, slowly feeling the rope, walls, and everything previously explored. He finds a hot water bottle, brews tea, and spills half. Rick wipes the floor with a cloth. He finds food and eats dinner from memory. He sleeps in a sleeping bag, listening to sounds. He tries to guess if it's night or if his body just gave up. And so, the first day passed. On the second day, Rick starts a routine. He wakes by inner feeling. He exercises blindly. He counts aloud to stay on track. He already knows where the food is. Rick talks to himself and keeps an audio diary to avoid boredom. He decides to mark days with knots on a rope, still believing he can count them. His movements are now more precise. He doesn't knock over dishes or mix up containers. Yet each simple action takes 3 times longer. Every mistake in the dark is a disaster. Each movement demands total focus. By the third day, he starts to discern the cave by its sounds. Dripping water means a storeroom. A muffled step indicates a corridor. An echoing wall marks the main chamber. Rick moves more confidently, finding things on the first try. But he soon loses count, tying 2 knots instead of 1. He then doubts himself. Was it 3 days or 4? This is the first glitch. On the 5th day, Rick complains of fatigue. By this time, his body had begun to change. Less sunlight means less vitamin D. Rick feels his body losing energy. His body feels dormant. Appetite drops. He wants to lie down instead of moving. Without sun and fresh air, his body conserves energy. He exercises slowly, pausing often. He frequently sits on the floor. He writes in his diary, "Just a bad mood day." He feels many more such days are coming. On the 10th day, he completely loses his bearings. It feels like more than 2 weeks have passed. He eats twice in a row, thinking much time passed between meals. Then he doesn't eat for almost a day, convinced he just had breakfast. His internal rhythm gets far ahead. His body decides when it's morning or evening. Without light, his brain loses track of time, relying only on hunger and fatigue. On day 20, phantom sounds appear. He listens, freezes, then tells himself it's a drop, not a person, and carries on. But the quieter it gets, the more often he feels someone is near. This is normal. The isolated brain fills the void with imagined signals. Rick still controls this. In his diary, he writes that he sometimes sees things, and it happens more often. On day 30, most of his voice notes are talks with an imaginary friend. He tells him what he ate and what dreams he had. Sometimes phrases break off. Rick forgets words and starts anew. Without constant talk, his speech loses structure. He notices this. He tries to narrate all his actions aloud. By day 40, he makes almost no mistakes. He finds everything on the first try. His movements are sharp and calm. His routes are perfected. Rick senses where things are by echo and temperature shifts, yet he is sure it is roughly day 32. Rick no longer counts days. He simply lives. The knots on the rope are no longer a calendar, they are a habit. Rick has adapted. He no longer fears the dark. By day 80, Rick's body seemed to enter night mode. His pulse slowed, movements grew sluggish, and sleep was continuous. He had almost no desire to change anything. Light deprivation disrupted hormones for alertness, mood, and focus. Rick spoke less. His brain worked slower. He kept doing what he knew, finding food, brewing tea, moving minimally to avoid freezing. His mind stopped waiting for an exit. It simply decided to live here. On day 100, I called his name. Rick didn't answer immediately. He then stood, slowly, as if taking his first step ever. We took his hands, put on his glasses, and led him into the light. First, twilight. Then, air and sky. Rick squinted and just stood there. Tears flowed freely. Rick needed no words. He saw the sun again and earned your like.